how I approach like doing all that stuff. And then probably starting to talk about UVing. Hopefully everyone here has had experience UVing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, yes.
Yep.
Yep, still hate it.
Although
Okay.
I've never UV'd a face before.
Okay. Who has the problem with faces? That's Artie, right? Yeah, you're gonna love
Correct.
those like weird stretched out
Oh boy.
texture faces.
So on the
Sorry.
16th, that's the last time we're gonna be low poly, yeah.
No, 16th is going to be the last day. Is the last like lecture day about the high poly.
Okay.
So it's not the last day that your high poly needs to be due. It's just the last day that I'm going to be talking about the high poly extensively.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people are still going to be working on their high poly well into Thanksgiving, or well into, not into Thanksgiving, but they're going to be hopefully working. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be working on your high poly well into November, or at least maybe into the first couple of weeks in November, because that's just how it goes. As a reminder, we do not have class for one day in November. That's because we have Black Friday, which is after Thanksgiving, right? So, excuse me. So we will be missing a week in November. So, but then after that, we only have like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh shit.
After Black Friday. So I'm not trying to scare anybody, but we only have so much time left, and I do want to start talking about more low poly stuff sooner rather than later.
Time is passing by so fast.
It's almost like I think we have 8 more weeks our school.
We're in week 6 right now, right?
This is technically week 6, and we're like ahead of the other classes technically because
9 weeks then.
Yeah, because we have that week off. So technically on the 23rd, that's when you guys will be turning your final high poly, because I'm going to be grading it the next day for midterms and submitting for midterms. Okay. But I'm assuming that everyone's going to still be working on it until Halloween or after Halloween. So think of the midterm report more as like your other progress report, okay? Because there's not really like a midterm in this class. It's more like, this is what I think you're at, and like basically I kind of just grade everyone on a curve, like as I don't know, I kind of like from like week 1 I can kind of tell what kind of grade you're gonna get at the end of the semester if I'm like 100% honest, and then I kind of like grade you kind of at that level ideally like throughout the semester, unless you like really kill it and you like really excel, then I raise it higher or lower, which happens a lot. So but so yeah, like it's another just progress report basically. I would say hopefully by the 30th your high poly should be like done. It should be like feature complete. That's like 3 weeks away. You shouldn't really have to touch it anymore, hopefully, or at least you're ready to start thinking about how your low poly is going to be developed. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Well, it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, short version, get shit done.
Yeah, before the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean,
try to get shit done before the 23rd.
I know you guys probably have midterms for your other classes too, so don't like try to kill yourself. But manage your time. Yeah, I mean, I a lot of people in this class, based on my other classes, just a lot of people just don't finish their high polys in time by that time. It's very rare. Maybe like a couple people do it. So like, don't feel too bad. But I do want you to try and finish it sooner rather than later, so you can actually have the time to finish, because there's still another like 50% of the workload left that we have to do. We have to poly, we have to texture, like pose, light, render, like
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's like a lot of stuff that we still have to do and still have to talk about. So don't stress. I don't know. Don't stress as much. Like try to take your time and make it look good. I did give you guys an image last week Do you feel like that was like helpful of like what I was expecting or no?
But the other people's work.
Well, I attached an image to your guys' email last week of like my whip where I was like, this is where I'm expecting everyone to be kind of within the next couple weeks.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
helpful.
Let me double check that.
You guys aren't checking your emails, bro.
Is it actual
I
email
did.
or the mail in the LMS?
The LMS where I send all the lecture links and
Oh,
I send all
that
the
one.
Oh,
yeah.
check it.
Game 340 module link. It even says please read in the subject line. How many people
Sorry.
read this?
I just noticed that.
So these are some whips that I've made for my ArtStation account for my ArtStation challenges. Again, not everyone's making a full body character, so kind of cut the character half. But this is what I'm expecting. Hopefully that your high poly is like done. You know, it's like looks pretty good. There's nothing faceted looking. Nothing really looks too, decimated or like gross. Everything looks really clean. And I'll go into some fabric stuff today, hopefully, that we can talk about as well. And my kind of pushing my game plan for that. But yeah, hopefully everything should be relatively clean, and you should have almost like all your major elements there. Again, doesn't have to be today, but within the next couple weeks for sure. You guys can just go on ArtStation and also look at other people's work to see what other people's high polys look like, right? So I don't have to be the one to tell you, like, I don't know. I can tell you what I'm expecting, but I don't have to. I don't feel like I don't have to tell you what the industry is expecting. Let's go to. These are all 2D. Where's all the 3D stuff?
Unless the 2D is a 3D somehow.
Look at this. Like, this is cute. Man.
It's even animated.
This is like man, I should just show this stuff in my class and be like, this is what I want you guys to pick. Actually, I've been playing this game called Drake Hollow. Have you guys heard about this game?
No.
It's like an open world kind of like, it's like an open world scavenger game. I don't know what the frame rate looks like on your guys' monitor right now, but it has like this. I feel like all the characters and stuff in this game, I hope by the time that you guys graduate, you should hopefully be competent, if you want to be a character and an artist, enough to like make some simple stuff like this. Like, because this is like, if you want to freelance, this is exactly the type of BS that you would probably get contracted to make. Like, I need a bunch of heads and I need a bunch of clothing. And we'll pay you like however much, and you got to get it done in like 3 weeks or whatever. So like, that's like a good example of like something I try to like shoot for. And they're pretty simple. There's just like a pair of pants. It's like some boots, a head, right? Like all the stuff that we're talking about today. Yeah.
Yeah, but the 3 weeks part is the scary part because last time I checked, we're in week 6 and we still don't have a high poly done.
I know, but you guys aren't working on your high poly every day. Like if you're working 8 hours a day, 5 days in a row, that's 40 hours. For 3 weeks, that's 120 hours.
Also,
That's
we
true.
don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
That is
That's
also very true.
But that's a reality of freelancing, is that they're going to expect really fast turnarounds sometimes. Like when Oliver was working on the Spyro game,
Oof.
he was making these characters, and he told me that these were like 2 week turnarounds.
24/7. Yeah.
So
My friend from for The Last of Us, they had to finish it in like 2 or 3 weeks, which kind
Really?
of sucks. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Making Ellie kind of sucks for them. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I'm sorry.
yeah, I have a friend who works at Sony, and it's like a very unique process. Yeah, look at all this. Is this in Blender? Is that Blender? Yeah.
Ooh, that armor.
Yeah, so it's all about making stuff clean, right? So I hope my belt demo gave you guys an idea of like how you should be making stuff cleanly, so that you can save yourself a headache later. We'll get into hopefully some more. I know it's already 9:15. Let's take attendance and stuff. I definitely want to talk about how to push clothing and maybe do some detailing on like armor bits if people have armor bits. So is everyone here today? Basically, we got 14 Tahoes here. Stephanie is here. Jack is here.
Hello.
Ashley's here. Armin is here. Ryan is here. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, what?
Okay, sorry. RD is here. It just says R next to your name, so. Okay, Fu Yang is here.
Well, that's wild.
Everett, John, Daniel, and Longji, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm here, but my brain feels like it's mush. So
Yeah, my brain is a week from yesterday, and
yeah, what really helps me when I'm working on stuff, I'm going to show you guys something. Okay, for clients. Okay, this is not like a real client. This is like my friend. But what really helps me is keeping track of like how many hours per week, or how many hours like when I'm working on something, how long I'm actually working on it. So start to keep track of like how long things take you. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. That's like my advice right now.
Why do you do that out of curiosity? Like, what do you find that makes it so that you feel like you're actually going to get work done, or?
Yeah, it helps me like understand like how much time something actually takes, but also it's useful for when a client asks me how long is something going to take, I can like tell them like this thing took me this much time. And then I can tell them, or I can keep track, like if they're paying me hourly, I keep track of the hours obviously also, but all that stuff.
What's this?
It's just, this is called Notion.
Notion.
It's a really useful, you have to set up all this stuff yourself and it's like kind of complicated, but it's a pretty useful like life
Animal Crossing
organization tool. Yeah, I have like all my Animal Crossing stuff set up here.
and Terraria.
Yeah, and all my Final Fantasy 14 stuff. Okay, I don't want to.
Nice.
Yeah, so I would say check that out. What else to talk about? That's it. I mean, it just you want to spend your time wisely. Like when you're at the computer, are you actually working? Like think about that. Like how much are you actually getting done? Put your phone on do not disturb, throw it at the wall, and just like start working is what I've started doing recently. Okay, one last thing before we actually start has anybody played the new Crash game?
Oh, the like for the PS4.
Yeah,
I heard.
Have you played this yet?
I just saw videos of it.
It looks amazing. Okay.
Cool skins.
Yeah, there's a ton of million different skins, and it looks
Oh.
really, really good.
I was hoping
So,
for Smash.
a coworker I work with found these files. Potentially
Oh, okay.
these models.
Wow.
Dig
of all
some
the
stuff out of a
characters.
garbage can?
Yes, just walking
just
through the alleyway
found
of day. Oh, look at these files lying on the ground. People throw out perfectly good files these days.
Hold on, let me open this up again.
Someone hacked into the game and ripped all these models out.
So I don't know. Let's just look at Tana, right? Because she's like kind of cool. She's like a cool character. So they're a little jank because they're ripped straight out of Unreal.
Yep.
But you can kind of see if I just turn the wireframe on.
All the
You see all the
rigs.
rigs.
Yeah, they have
Even the eyebrows are rigged.
Yeah, so everything is rigged, right? And everything has like a nice level of thickness, like even these eyelashes, right?
Yeah.
That hair, I mean, it's like pretty simple, right? It's just like big shapes, kind of stylized. Everything is pretty cleanly. Everything has thickness, right? It looks like they sewed her bandana to her chest. I personally would not do that, but they were being super optimal in this game because it has to run at like 60 frames a second or whatever on a PS4. Like, does she have a teeth and mouth and stuff in here? I don't know. I can't really tell, but
How often
yeah,
you
she
have
does.
to, like, make it that low for for any console? Like
What's up?
this is how low for the industry, like how low poly would be.
I think. Well, I don't know. I think that's a hard question. I think they've definitely really optimized this game a lot because they're wizards and that's what they do. I think they probably could have got away with making it a little bit higher res. But if overall, like, it's pretty clean, like no polygon is wasted. 22,000 for this particular character. I mean, the texture detail isn't that crazy. Like, we can apply the textures really, and that might help. Let's see if we can find that really fast.
I mean, it really just depends on the game. Like, simple games like this are gonna have lower counts. Like, slightly more detailed ones like Overwatch are gonna be closer to like 40 or so, and then stuff like The Last of Us is gonna have, you know, as many as they want.
I don't know how that game's still working. Number 2 kind of crashed on me a lot. That's good.
So let's grab her like color map here.
Oh, there it is. Oh, there's the face texture.
There you go.
Yeah, the face.
So yeah, I mean, overall their texture detail isn't insane either. So it's not like the game really requires like an insane high poly count, right? I think if they were going for an especially high level of density, then they would definitely like they would probably up the polygon count. But for like the type of character that this is and like the level of detail that they wanted, this looks pretty good. For like 20,000 tries, yeah.
And pain.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is baked down for sure. And or combined. I mean, that's probably good. I mean, look, you can even see like how messy their masking is, dude. Come on, bro. What is this? Anyway. So yeah, those are like useful resources. These are cool to look at. Let's go to file, open scene. We can look at like somebody
really
else.
Good find.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like really in these like circles where they just dump this stuff all the time, basically. I think for your guys' portfolios, I want to say that these are really cool, obviously, but like, oh God, I've squished Tana because they use the same rig. So Tana just got squished there. Neo color map.
Man, looking back in these games.
So I think for your portfolio, you guys should make the best looking stuff possible. Don't really worry about optimization that much. You should just worry about making the cleanest looking shapes. Obviously, when you're in production, there's going to be something different. You just want to focus on making really clean models that look really good, basically. So there's going to be a lot of topology stuff kind of related to this that we're going to talk about later. But yeah, oh yeah, even this. Oh, that is a separate object, it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So just some cool stuff to look at. I could probably upload these maybe to the drive if you guys want to take a look at them on your own time. They're all triangulated, and unfortunately they're all unwelded because that's just how Unreal exports stuff out. But probably a good reference for sure.
I tested my character on what do you call, what was that thing for the animation? What was it? Mixamo. I already tested her. It actually works.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she actually animates well. Just the tail needs to be fixed. I just gotta rig the tail. That's interesting.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
So does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about so far before we get into feedback and stuff?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So how's everyone doing? Would anybody like to get some specific feedback today, or let me take a look at their stuff?
I've got a specific question about kind of furry elements of clothing, and I want to say alien hands.
Ooh.
On these guys, you mean? On this guy, you mean?
Yeah, stylized old people hands. Threw me for a bit of a loop.
Okay. I mean, I think they look pretty good so far. Download. Okay. Let's open up OBS here.
Those wrinkles pull up the figure. The head.
Yeah, so I can already see a couple of people I definitely want to take a look at today.
You're right. The anime heads are actually very hard to make.
I told you guys. You guys never freaking listen to me, dude.
Right, so hard.
Depending what style you choose, I'm like, oh, this is actually very hard to choose.
It is hard.
That's why I was like, let's pick something kind of generic. All right. I've been having weird headphone issues lately, so hopefully it doesn't give me any problems today. All right, so do you have the hands in this scene, or are you trying to import them into this scene?
They're in a separate scene where I was making them. I'll import them when I'm ready to attach them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they look pretty good. If anything, maybe the thumb is like maybe a little bit short. They have really good subdivisions on this stuff. Let's start recording. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we're taking a look at RD's character here. Yeah, I might make this thumb meat a little bit bigger. I just feel like lately on the last project I work on, they were like so strict. The animators were so strict about what they wanted to see. So I feel like I'm a lot more cognizant of like what I would push now. Yeah, I mean, overall, you could probably just like make these details a little bit more pushed in. But I mean, he is like a weird alien guy. Like he's like a weird druid dude. Like I think if he looks a little weird, like it's, you know, it's probably fine, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like your reference to the what you call old guy shapes.
Old guy shapes.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. Like with wrinkles actually makes a lot more sense, or like with folds.
Yeah. Cool. Whoop. Yeah, and then you just got to work on getting this glorious shape onto your arms here. Did you split him up over here into different parts? No.
I split up his arms and his head, I believe.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So that's what I would expect for sure.
Well, I was just working really on the head this week.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like you got some good detail there.
I have a quick question regarding ZBrush. Is there like a shortcut key of some sort to make all of the subtools visible in the panel?
Yeah, so if you hold shift and you click on the eyeball, that will turn off everything off and on.
Oh, cool.
That's it really. That'll toggle. It will toggle like everything on though. So if you have a bunch of stuff that's meant to be hidden, or like you don't want to look at it anymore, put it in a folder and just turn the visibility off on the folder. And the folders tend to ignore this this functionality. As you can see, even if I turn this guy on, it doesn't turn this on over here.
Okay.
So if you have like old stuff, I just like put it in a folder here and just hide it. There's probably a way to set up a hotkey for this stuff. But I don't think it's, yeah, I just use that button over there. Yeah, I think your hands are pretty good. You just got to get them into the scene and clean them up. Let's use this a little bit to talk about some clothing stuff that I want to talk about. So first things first, clothing. So I've been doing a lot of demos for clothing on other people's files, but I just want to reiterate how I make clothing. You just extract a shape, right? I think this is a little too high to start with. Right now, this mesh is 125,000 triangles. That's pretty high for like this shape. So let's kind of be smart, right? So kind of like in the same vein that how you split up your character's hands and stuff, let's like work on this. So if I'll duplicate this and we'll keep the original just in case. So isolate select. So good things first, you got polygroups. You don't want to really lose your polygroups if you can help it because they're really powerful. I'm just gonna like delete this half here because we don't really, or let's like solo mode. Maybe like delete that much. And then let's go to geometry, delete hidden. So something I've also toggled in ZBrush. If you guys want to toggle this, you go to preferences, and in the it's under, I forget where this is, interface, palettes. There's a thing here called auto collapse and right tray auto collapse. If you hover over this, I turn this off. By default, it's on. So if you turn this off, you can have multiple of these sub palettes open at the same time. So I can have the subtool sub palette and the geometry palette open at the same time with that option.
Oh my god.
I know.
You're a wizard.
I
Thank you.
don't know why it took me like 6 years to finally turn that feature on, but
I mean, to be fair, it's been like 5 for me, so
yeah.
Standard.
Yeah, I feel like it helped me a ton. It's been useful. So anyway, you get like this. It doesn't really matter what this looks like down here. I would definitely reduce this a little bit more. So just use Zero Mesher at like half to bring it down. You know, most of my clothing shapes, I want to start get them below 10K if I can. Oh, we got to make sure we hit delete hidden under modified topology, delete hidden here. Go to Zero Mesher. Okay. Yeah, let's just bring it down to half. So make sure when you use half, you have adaptive on also. So it tries to make all the polygons the same size as well. All right, so we're losing some detail here. That kind of sucks, but we can just bring it back. It's okay. It doesn't really matter. Cool. So you end up with a shape like this. This is probably fine to start with. Just turn off solo mode here. Again, we can kind of fix this up later and then do the same whole process that we've been doing to panel loops. You got a good setup here, it looks like, or maybe I broke it. You know, turn the bevel off, turn the elevation to negative, turn polish off, turn thickness, bam. Bam. There we go. Now yeah, that's probably fine for this character. Let's actually make it a little bit thicker just in case. Bam. Cool. And then, yeah, go over here to crease and hit subdivide like once. The crease is just to make sure that when you subdivide, you don't lose this edge when you subdivide, because if you don't have creasing on, it just kind of like starts to round itself out, and you kind of don't want that sometimes. So crease it, Control D, uncrease it maybe once, and then there you go. So now you get that really kind of sharp defined edge.
Cool.
That'll just make it easier to like low poly later. Yeah, so what are some brushes I use when I'm like adding clothing folds and stuff, and other details? Damien Standard is a really good one. What else? Orb Cracks. If you guys have access to that brush, does everyone know what that brush is?
Yes, it is amazing.
Okay, let me link it to you guys.
I've heard many things about it, but I don't know where to get it or how to do that.
Sorry, which brush again?
Orb Cracks.
Yeah. Honestly, like just googling like Orb ZBrush pack.
Oh,
brush
was
pack.
was it the brush?
ORB. Yeah.
Patrick said last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy over here, Michael Vicente, he also goes by Orb. He works at Blizzard. He's an amazing artist. He has a awesome brush pack that has a lot of great stuff in here that we're probably going to use for detailing stuff today as well. But let me paste it here. So you guys can it's a free download. You don't have to pay for it on Gumroad over here. But he has a couple brushes in here called Orb Cracks and like Orb Cracks 2. Orb Cracks is like a great brush for like making specific folds too. Let me close this window. There we go. Go over here. Bam. And then when I'm working on clothing, it's like you want to like probably turn down the Z intensity on your smooth brush a little bit. And then like you want to make sure that you're defining like the good silhouette, right? The good silhouette. I hate that dumb phrase, but like the good. Let's go over here. But you want kind of the surfaces to interact with each other as best as they can. You might turn down your subdos here. So you get like shapes like this. So everything just starts to act and interact with each other really cleanly. Does anybody have any questions so far while I'm doing this or thoughts?
My brain was mush, so thought may not happen. But so far, no questions either.
Okay. There's another really okay. Actually, that reminds me of another thing that another student showed me. I want to hide this guy. How do I do that? Okay, hide. Okay, you're probably gonna want to start naming these also, because that's gonna get into the naming convention stuff we're gonna talk about here in a sec.
Alrighty.
So folds, right? I mean, folds are so difficult to talk about. I really don't even feel like after using Marvelous, I don't feel like I'm like a fold. I know nothing. I feel like I know nothing about folds. I do what I can, and if people have like pants and stuff, I can like demo this stuff later. But you want like the folds and like the tension to feel coming from like a real place. Like I feel like sometimes people just kind of like maybe like do this. And they're like, I'm done. Like, that's it. I did my folds. And I'm guilty of that too, for sure. And even in that Drake Hollow game that I just showed you guys, they for sure do that too. Like, they just kind of put a few folds around the pant legs. And for like most stylized games, it probably will work. If you want really realistic folds, you're probably really going to want to look at reference from real life or even like 3D scan data. This is probably not the best example because this guy's like so stylized and cartoony, but like 3D scan store. Let's go to body scans. We want like clothing reference. Here we go. Just open this website. You don't have to pay for this stuff. You could just like open it up and just like grab these images and just have them open as reference. Just be like, wow, look at all those really sick folds, you know? All that nice detail as reference. These are like from real images. These are from real people. So that's like these are great things to have open as well.
Yeah,
for this.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Would it make sense to pose a character and then do folds just because tension in clothing changes if you lift up your arms?
I mean, how extreme are these poses you guys make it? I don't know. Like
I sent you my pose, that one pose, but I don't know. I have to fix the hair up. I don't know what to do with mine.
It really depends on how extreme the pose is. Like, I think more often than not, you don't need to unless it's like really extreme. If you play most video games, you see that the clothing is like kind of static in like a lot of the shots, right? It's only really in like really, really quadruple AAA games that like that do characters have like different states for the clothing basically that they switch between. Like I know in like Max Payne 3, right, there's like a shot of like where if he's running forward, his jacket like actually moves as if it's like, or like blends between a couple different normal maps. Yeah, I think like I don't think you really need to for these particular characters. I don't think you need to set up any blend shapes or anything extreme for like this type of work. Later on though, maybe like when if you're trying to do like really advanced stuff, then yeah, you probably would like pose the character and then do a real sim. But more often than not, it's just about like getting a nice clean silhouette and shape. Trying to avoid like this kind of like mushy look. You're trying to make sure everything feels kind of like sharp. As it can.
Yeah, I had a question about that. So when I did this, like this thing that's draped over him, I'm not sure what to call his cloak.
Yeah.
So obviously it was attached to his skin, so I had to move it away from his skin for it to hang, and that obviously kind of made it mushy along the edges. Is there a way to stop that from mushy, or do you kind of fix that in post?
I mean, ideally, you would keep your polygroups like this because it looks like you lost your polygroups here. You looks like you might have like zero mesh it at some point to become one gigantic mesh. Ideally, you would keep it like this, so you could like keep that harsh line and keep your polygroups separated like that.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the thing where like I have to move it away from his skin, because when I extract it, it's extracted along his skin. Then when I pull it off for it to hang down, like with tips hanging off the front, the act of moving it kind of mushed it.
I kind of see what you're saying. I don't think there's any real way to fight that other than like what I said, like try to keep it to a plane, keep it low poly like this. Move it maybe zero mesh it also again, so that it kind of recreates the edges and the topology.
All right.
And then try to move the plane, try to move that one side the distance that you want, and then use the panel loops.
Got it.
Is usually how I do that type of stuff. Yeah, if you guys are trying to do any sort of like ripped clothing like this, something a student showed me is that if you go to the move tool and then I think it's in the stroke modifiers, not roll. Is it under brush? Hold on, I gotta find this really fast. It's under like not modifiers, orientation, twist, elasticity, samples, depth, curve. Here you go. Acu curve. Click this button. You get some crazy, like, you can make some really like ripped and kind of tear shapes. Kind of like using snake hook. But can give you like a little bit more like accurate result. For this guy, I would definitely like, I don't know. It looks like maybe I made some symmetry here. I don't know if he had symmetry before, but I would like.
On the tear hole, I did
crash.
not have symmetry, no.
Oh, wait. No, it didn't. Okay, I thought it was going to crash. Okay, I might make this feel a little bit asymmetrical. Yeah, you can make these feel really sharp with this type of detail.
Then
yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Then if you want to, you can use like orb cracks or something to kind of get in here and like, start to tear it up further like this. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions so far? What time is it, by the way? It's 42. Okay.
I've got one more question about the clothes. So he's got what I call a fuzzy bottom. So I wasn't really sure how to approach it. I kind of just did a placeholder there, so I just remember to do it. But I mean, just from a sculpting perspective, that's one thing. But also when it comes to the low poly element of it, I'm not sure how to even begin approaching that.
Okay, so I think I sent this image. Did I send this image to anybody in this class? The fur video, the fur tips. Okay. So I can give you guys this image. Please do not share it publicly. Everyone needs to be really effing cool about this. Okay. Please do not share this image publicly. Okay.
No
but this is an example of how I do fur. So I usually make a bunch of individual shapes like this, and I have a million different extractions. I don't know. It can be a ton for sure.
Is it like doing hair or like a character too?
It's kind of like hair. It depends on how like extreme or stylized you want the fur to look, because there's thousands of different ways to make fur. I feel like some people have alphas, some people use other stuff, but I usually make a shape like this, and then when I'm ready to low poly, not really any point before, I basically dynamesh everything together and then create kind of like this really big, dense, high-res shape at a very super high resolution. And I kind of smooth out the transition so that nothing really happens. And this says right here, like, this creates a very dense mesh, but I don't really care about the density anymore at this point because I'm just trying to make a shape that I can low poly. Because mainly I'm concerned about having a good shape and I don't want to have any errors when I bake. So
that's poly right there.
No, this is my Dynamesh. I will use this to create my low poly. Okay. I can show you the low poly, like maybe later if I load up the file, but it depends. Like some people make really detailed fur where they keep all the fur separate. Some people make really crazy fur where all the fur is like combined, right? It is kind of like making hair in that there's like a ton of different solutions.
Yeah. My long hair, I'm like, do I put everything together or just make it separate strands and then just put them together at the end?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to think of. Like there's different processes, but I'm like, try to just make it as one piece or just separate it.
I'm trying to find like a good example of my likes here. Here's like kind of some cool fur.
There's Tifa with that hair.
Like some people end up doing this. This guy works on all right, hold on, we'll open it up in a sec. Fur. Where is the fur?
Right there.
Where?
Well, there's the realistic fur.
There's a lion.
Lion?
Third from the left top, very top.
Oh yeah, no.
There's also a wolf like 5 over.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but that's like realistic fur. We're looking for like stylized fur.
Big. Let's see.
Hold on, we can go to my character likes here. Let's look up like May. I'm sure May has.
I was
going to
say on the
Oh wait, here
left.
you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like a bunch of bad images when I just search May on ArtStation? No. Okay, there is some bad images. So like here's another example of like, again, kind of like, so usually when I make hair too, oh yeah, there you go.
There. Okay, that makes sense.
A lot of time when I make hair, I try to keep it like that kind of similar shape too, where I make like a bunch of individual strands, and then depending on the final look dev or whatever I'm doing, I'm going to combine them all into a single mesh, kind of like this. Later, it might not start like this. It might start looking like this, but then I dynamesh everything together at the end to make a single shape. So yeah, this is like another example of kind of how you make it. This guy's really cool. I kind of follow him, but another really good example of like a bunch of individual strands. I think he kind of just didn't even bother trying to combine them all together into a single shape. He just left them as like kind of separated, which is like fine. It's his portfolio. It doesn't really matter like if it's optimized, because he has like really good other game meshes, and he's worked on like RuneScape and stuff. And look, he also worked on Spyro. So yeah, there's like another example. I wonder if you can show the high res. I don't think you can. But that's usually how I approach fur. See, look at these folds. They're just like, whatever, dude. He's like, I got to make this in 2 weeks. I don't have time to like make accurate folds. Like I got to like pump this out. Oh, this isn't the right May. Hung Chen Lin. Does he have another May skin in here? May. Oh, this guy worked on Wildstar. Wow.
There's a cartoony bear up there as all kinds of fur.
Where?
On the left-hand side, next to it too, bottom of your screen.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So some people do stuff like this where they just like try to sculpt it with like a bunch of alphas and shapes. I think that's like really tedious and like kind of annoying. But whatever you think works for you.
I'm inherently lazy, so.
I mean, I am too. So I just like try to make it stylized. These Overwatch skins, like in the actual game for May, they just use planes, and they use a bunch of different planes for her. They don't actually like make it geometry because it's more optimal that way. So there's lots of different ways that you could tackle this. These are from the cinematic, so these don't really count. But okay, yeah. So I might do something like this where like I make a bunch of individual extractions, or you can do what you're doing. I mean, this is like kind of I don't know.
It's garbage. Let's not lie. Let's not lie to ourselves.
It's not that bad actually. But I mean, yeah, you can like try to break it up a little bit for sure. Use the pinch tool here to kind of push stuff.
It's not garbage. It's simply a work in progress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
We can tell ourselves always lies to go to sleep at night.
No, it's just my low poly version of it, and then I'll work on more on the high poly version of it.
But when you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't sleep and you turn on your computer and this waits for you, you know the truth.
I was gonna say it's just your first attempt. That's all, or second, or third.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who said it was my first attempt?
But yeah, usually I make a shape like this, and I just like create a folder called like fur, and then just put all these shapes in the same folder. And then do the same thing. So with these types of fur shapes, it's the same process with hair. I just like take it and just like immediately like Dynamesh it and just start basically. Oh wow, this is pretty bad.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think because it's double sided, it's like causing a bunch of issues. So you can go over here to polygroups and use auto groups to kind of separate this main shape from those other garbage, and then go back to geometry and hit delete hidden. And then Dynamesh it again, and just use like the pinch tool. Just be like really rough with it, right? Like, there's no reason to be, don't be like, there's no reason to like baby it at this stage. Like you're just trying to block out the shape.
Just beat it into submission.
Yeah, basically. Remember what does Bob Ross say? Beat the devil out of it, right? Like,
I don't remember that one.
That's what he says.
I was going to say that's new.
Every time he uses a brush.
You guys don't watch Bob Ross? He says that all the time when he cleans his brushes.
It's time in the military, just coming through. Little Freudian slips.
Everyone make Bob Ross. That's all we need to do. This 3D model.
Yeah.
All I remember is happy clouds.
Yeah.
Happy little trees.
But yeah, the same thing. Like you want to pay attention to your silhouette as you're sculpting.
Yeah, how do you get that silhouette cutout area at the top there?
So if you're on the latest version of 2021, you should have it. If you don't have it, okay.
It's in 2020. It's not before.
I'm not on the 480 either, so I don't have mine. But
an easy way to check it is if your color over here is black, right? You can hit V to switch between the white and the black colors. So you can hit V and then just make this like pure black, and you can kind of look at your background. That kind of helps too.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, cool. And then once you make this shape, just zero mesh it to like a way lower polygon mesh. Sorry, I'm hitting my microphone like crazy. Zero mesh it.
That's why I've been using the black paint to just make sure I got the silhouette.
Yeah, there you go. Just kind of smooth this shape down. Have you guys done any sub-D modeling, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like a lot of what my philosophy now as a character artist kind of comes from like the idea of like sub-D modeling. Like, how can I make a really clean, appealing, low poly shape? And then just basically all I have to do is take it into ZBrush and just press Control D a few times. And then I'm like done, right? Like that's kind of like what my workflow for, at least for my stylized freelance work, has kind of come down to. On my portfolio, I'm trying new things and I'm trying to do new things, but like when you got to make stuff fast, that's like an easy out.
Yep.
Is like make a really clean low poly base that has really good like when you use creasing and you smooth it, it has a really good clean sub-D base. And then you can make it look, then you can just like low poly it super easily later.
Okay. I should just do this for the hair too, and then just duplicate the same strands all over and over.
Yeah, and then you can just use like sub-D it a couple times, and then just like use Damien Standard. Damien Standard, I hate my new tablet. Damien Standard, it makes Damien Standard look like ass. Or cracks here.
No, that's not your new tablet. That's just Damien Standard.
Ooh,
I hate that damn brush.
Yeah, then you can kind
I
of
mostly changed the flow of the brush, and I just upgrade it.
And then you can just get some really nice forms like this, basically, where you're like, wow, cool. All right, that's one of 25 I got to make or whatever. And then you just start duplicating them around kind of piece by piece.
Cool beans. I will play this week and see what doesn't blow my brains out. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions about that? Okay, I'm gonna do one last demo, and then I gotta go use. Actually, I gotta go use the bathroom really fast. So let's take a quick 5. Everyone, come back at like 10 o'clock. I'm gonna do a demo on how to add belt holes and stuff. I'll take a look at a couple other people's stuff, and then we'll continue. But I gotta go real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so
Goodbye.
be back in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm back now. Why's my thing not buttoned up? Okay. Cool. Steve, blocks out the competition. That's right. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot to like continue to demo today. So okay. Also, I want to say, if you didn't know already, we do still have class on Monday. I didn't think we would, but some people seem to be under the impression that we might get Columbus Day off. We still have class.
Columbus Day isn't even a real holiday.
I know. Like, I mean, my freelance company gives USA workers Columbus Day off. And I was even typing in the chat at work. I was like, bro, you guys get Columbus Day off? That's like not even a real holiday.
It's one of those holidays that like labor unions and stuff will get off, but not like anyone else.
Yeah, not like tech companies where they don't respect your time.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm surprised we get a Black Friday off. For that was just a shopping day.
Well, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we have Thanksgiving off the day before. Technically, that's why they give it off, because everyone's going to be too hungover and drunk for Black Friday, basically.
It's like Thursday is Thanksgiving, so they give Friday off because they know that we're not going to show up to school anyway.
Yeah.
So why try?
And traditionally in America, you go home to your family and you won't be back the next day. So.
Yeah, that's just a placeholder belt. Don't look at it too much; it'll hurt you.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna clean it up really fast for this demo.
I was actually just gonna remake it, but yeah, you can do that for me.
Okay. Let's go to geometry. Oh, that's my phone going off. I was like, what is going on right now? I heard some things. Oh no. Okay. All right. Sorry. I just got an email that was like, time to renew your health plan. And I was like, fuck. All right. Okay. So what I just got distracted by like all the other stuff happening right now. Sorry. Okay. Let me clean this up really fast. Okay. So duplicate. Wait, can I hear it? Is anybody talking? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, we've all been talking this whole
I
time.
just muted myself.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure my headphone wasn't broken again.
You're good.
Right.
You're good.
Okay, so isolate select this. Geometry. Delete hidden. Okay, and then do a quick zero mesher. Don't hit freeze border. I guess it doesn't really matter, but oh my god. All right.
I love it.
Let's use half here and zero mesh it. I think we need to polish these kind of ends here to clean it up a little bit.
I was just gonna do a thing that you showed us last week and just put a sphere in
A cylinder in.
A cylinder, yeah.
That's probably the safest bet. If you go down, sometimes what helps is if you go down to deformation and do like a quick polish and do like a little bit of a polish and then polish by features. That will kind of smooth out those edges a little bit. Yeah. All right, then I'm just going to use half to keep reducing it further down. Why is it not going? Remeshing error occurred. Okay, polygroups.
Oh, it sometimes does that.
Auto groups, isolate select, delete hidden. Okay. Let's do another zero mesh. Why is the target polygon count so high? What does keep creases do? Do you think keep creases, like if you use creasing, it'll like actually keep that edge when you crease it?
I mean, one way to find out.
In zero mesher?
Yeah.
It's hit or miss.
Kind of.
Yeah, I've been using it, and it works. Sometimes it works too literally. So I've ran into problems on like some things where it just puts creases where they don't need to be.
Okay.
But with something with a hard edge, yeah, it would work.
All right. I should test that out then. Okay, so then we're going to go over here to geometry, edge loop, panel loops, polish, thickness, bam, bam. Sure, let's make like a belt shape. Okay, cool. So then you go over here to crease, control D, crease all. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there we go. We made something like this, right? Okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I want to show if there's like there's kind of an easy way that you guys can use. You can use this thing called dynamic subdivs and booleans inside of ZBrush to basically make holes into things or to cut into meshes that you want. It's a kind of complicated, but basically what you want to do is search things like make whatever shape you have that you want to cut into, and then you want to make a folder with this group and call it, whatever, like belt, right? And then you want to append a shape that's going to cut into the surface. So we're going to go over here. We're going to use a cylinder 3D for this, right? Let's go down here to cylinder 3D. Oh, I should have used insert instead of append, but let's go to here. Cool, and then pull this detail out, scale it in, pull it up. Basically, right, you guys kind of know how booleans work. Is everyone aware?
You press this button, it breaks your mesh for you.
Yeah, but
you're talking about ZBrush booleans are amazing.
Or like you guys know how booleans work in general in 3D is, right? Like kind of the theory behind them. Okay. So kind of come over here. If you're not aware, basically what they do is they just kind of like mathematically and algorithmically combine meshes or delete or like remove holes from meshes, basically. So if we solo this, so let's turn off both these tools here. Let's turn off everything and then only turn these two on. So you want to make sure it actually cuts through the mesh and it's about the size that you want it to look. For example, like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the subtool list, and the ordering of this actually matters quite a bit. So in the subtool list here, I'm going to click a couple buttons and I'll kind of show you what's going to happen here. So right now, both of these meshes are set to union, which is this first icon here. So if I hit Windows plus, I'm going to zoom in this. Okay, hold on. Windows. Okay, so can you guys see here?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know what my mouse is showing, but there's these three icons, right? There's this union, difference, and then like this one is like subtractive. I don't remember or this is difference, right? And then this is like subtractive. So you have to click on one of these to tell it what you want to do. So you should hit start here so that this function knows that we're going to combine these meshes in a sec. And then you want this to be you want this one to be subtractive because you want it to cut into this surface here. So let me close this here. Cool. So, and this, you could subdivide this. It doesn't really matter 100%. It just kind of makes that process a little bit more expensive and time consuming. But now if you go over here to Boolean, or where is it under? Live Boolean here, this button up here in the top left, that should give you a preview of what it looks like basically. Okay. And the cool thing is now you can like duplicate this mesh, set it to the same thing and move it over and it will update it in real time. So that's like an easy way that you can kind of see, all of these kind of objects working together. And it does eat up a bunch of memory. So you probably want to only turn this off when you know you're like ready to turn it on. And then you can go over here to do this and kind of like, make sure it actually sits within the shape that you want it to sit in like this, right? Okay, cool. And then let's turn off everything again. Turn these guys on. with this belt selected and hit live Boolean to see what it looks like. Make sure that this guy's set to subtractive as well. Maybe move this guy over a little bit so the spacing is like a little bit more cleaned up. Try to make it good. Try to make it look clean. And then what you're going to do is over here in the belt tab, you're going to probably click this. You're going to click this button, and you want to make sure you hit Boolean folder. I don't think you need live Boolean turned on at this point. You could probably just turn it off. But if you hit live Boolean, if you go over here and hit Boolean folder, it should create a new object based on the parameters that you had set up over there. Now, the issue is that it kind of ruins the mesh a little bit. Sculptors Pro is turned on. Ugh. Okay. It kind of ruins the topology and gets rid of like the clean subdivs and stuff that we had. So you might want to like zero mesh and reproject if you want to, but ideally, like you kind of don't care at this point. You could probably just retopo this mesh to be whatever shape that you want later. But that's an easy way that you can start adding in like belt buckle or like adding in like holes and stuff like into meshes and stuff. Anybody have any questions about that?
No questions, but it's good to know.
Okay.
That's legit. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then like, so for people who are making belts, like if you're making like stylized belts, I kind of just do stuff like this when I'm making a belt.
There's like little cracks and nicks in the edges.
Yeah, you want to like try and add this stuff here because it's like a lot harder to fake when you're texturing later. So definitely try to add this detail now. Depending on how clean your character is supposed to look, you're probably not going to add this detail. Like if they're, for example, I think on like Ashley or maybe Tahoe's character, you might not do this because they're like kind of clean, like anime characters, right? But like for this like weird grizzled grumpy old man, like I'm sure he's going to look kind of gnarly and gross. Whoops, hit V there. Cool. And then this is like your new belt buckle. And same thing with the belt buckles. I don't know if this is like your same shape, but get in there. Kind of like trim dynamic is really good for, let's control D one more time. Trim dynamic is really good for like breaking up shapes and silhouettes. I just kind of go around and give like my object a few like kind of like bevels like this. It kind of depends, like again, how much time you have.
Marketplace pumpkin spice sale shop now.
Just something like that to help kind of break it up. Oh, it's gonna crash. Hello?
You just need to believe.
Do it. Survive, ZBrush.
Okay, something is happening here where I can't like rotate the camera.
ZBrush is just testing your faith.
It's ZBrush.
Oh, God.
Oh
no.
Something
it's
happened
like
there.
doing something, but it won't let me sculpt anymore. All right.
You just sculpted something on the belt buckle itself.
I can't move these windows around. Normally what happens is like,
Hey,
hello?
look at that. Whoa, what is?
Hello, God?
It's having a heart attack right now.
Yeah, it's like breaking. All right, well, I can't
Booleans.
save. I didn't save this file. Hopefully there's a quick save or something, but
Well, feeling that we've got a video of it.
yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's end the task
Your old
there.
dude looks like he just had a stroke.
Let's say I told you, Booleans, they break things.
They do break things, so you do want to be like smart about
Save.
it.
You want to be saved in the save and just keep saving until you get around the whole.
Yeah.
We have like a.
I was trying to do something on one of my models for another class, and I kept breaking Maya. I didn't realize ZBrush is the same way.
I need to delete these quick saves. I need to stop. Next quick save files. Why is it set to 1,000? Save only 10 quick saves, dude.
I'll never get to that point of 1,000 quick saves ever.
Oh my god, yeah, I have like stuff from like way long ago. Oh my god. Okay.
That's a lot of quick saves.
Yeah. We're covered. This is a quick save here. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah. All right. Let's take a look at maybe a couple other people's here. I want to take a look at. I have some comments. I think over here. I want to take a look at Stephanie's really fast. Maybe take a look at Longji too. Cool. Everyone seems like they're making progress.
Do you have any other artists who does like stylized hair or ideas?
Other artists, I mean, all these Overwatch character artists are like really, really good people to follow. Hong Chan, and then there's Donald Fan, who's like a legend. He used to work when I was in school. He was like also a legend because he was making all these sick Dota sets.
Cool.
Like Overwatch is a good example because they have a lot of different solutions for their hairs. Like some characters are just big blocky shapes like Soldier 76, but then like some characters like Farah have like a lot of like long strands like this. Or this is Anna, sorry.
I'm try to do like long hair. I'm just trying to like, do I just draw it out or just separate the pieces between them?
We could try to use some
I saw
insert brushes
a little bit, but
oh yeah, Diva here. So yeah, so Diva has much bigger chunks, like that, and it seems like they kind of this sculpted detail. You might think that like this anisotropic hair thing, you might think that's like sculpted into the hair. It's not really. I think it's like faked in their shader. So just trying to make like really clean shapes like this. I know it's like kind of hard to tell, but like try to make like some clean strands. Who else does long stylized hair? Likes. What time is it, by the way? It's 10:16. Okay. This is a really good piece by Tyler. I already showed you this guy by Dan. This one is a really good piece. This Tifa is a pretty good piece. I mean, the thing about stylized hair, it's like, it's a balance between like, how much volume are you trying to make, and then how much detail are you trying to hit as well? Because there's like a lot of like characters that have like, she doesn't have a ton of hair, but it is very detailed. Like there's a millions of little strands, right? Whereas like this Tifa, she has a lot of hair, but they get away with a lot by like making these very big, very clean shapes. And that's what this person is known for sure. They even did like this sick, this different version of her. I don't know if this is like him just box modeling or like sculpting and doing stuff. I'm not sure, but like,
like that
because he shows these like very clean wires, like they're very, very well done. But yeah, for me personally, I almost always try to go for something like this, just like a lot of big tendrils shapes almost, and like very clean tips. You're paying attention to the silhouette. Yeah, like this is a great example of like all the stuff that we've talked about. I feel like, or I'm trying to talk about in this class, hopefully, like all these like very clean, sharp edges, right? Like all the detail is like pretty, like, nothing is like too mangled or mushy looking. Everything is pretty straight and pretty clean, right? So yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next person here. Okay, stop recording. ZBrush crash. Yeah, I had that too. Okay, I think part of the issue actually why ZBrush probably crashed is that I have too much stuff, and not crap, sorry. I have my other character in here, which is like causing a lot of lag, so I'm going to restart ZBrush. Let's close that also. Okay. Cool. Control N. Let's take a look at. All right. Oh, finally, it's gone. The pop-up is gone. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. How are you doing, Stephanie, on this? How are you feeling?
Good. I resubmitted the model.
Oh, okay.
Not too long ago, yeah. Because I was having issues with merging them, but I fixed the issue.
Cool. Let's refresh the page. This one here? This new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one. Okay, cool. You guys has everyone looked at the other student examples that I've posted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I mean, they're helpful.
Okay.
Really useful. I know
Some of them have made me weep inside because it's like, okay, I want to be that quality. How do I get that? Kind of like, I think it was.
Oh, you've merged his
RD was
eyelids.
mentioning
Okay.
that don't lie to yourself.
We don't need to be mean to ourselves. Okay. All right. So let's start recording here. So I don't think this is a bad way to go about this, Stephanie, but you've merged his eyeballs in here, or did you?
No, they were actually like closed, but once I did Dynamesh, it did that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go over here. So these is regular eyes?
Yeah.
Well, are you going to try and re-separate them, or what are you going to do, you think?
I was thinking of deleting those polys.
Just like doing this?
Yeah.
And deleting them? Can I go back to the other version and show you how I would merge it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want you to lose too much detail here. So let's go back to so in your version that you have set up here, you've merged everything, right? You've merged his hands and his body and his head. Was that intentional, or were you just did you like?
I was just figuring out how to merge them correctly because I know you said I can delete some areas that it's not gonna be able to see with the close. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do before, so I would like, I'm going to merge stuff together, but we don't have to merge everything first and then split things apart. We can split them apart now and then merge it because it'll make it much easier, right? Because now that we've merged in this version of the head, like now that we've merged this head to the hands, like the issue is that the quality of your Dynamesh that you've created is taken into account this entire mesh. But if we're only trying to merge the head and the neck, we should only let Dynamesh think about just the head and just the neck so that there's like no issues when you're combining shapes. So if we go back to this guy and we open up your body here, right? So for this example, you've got a lot of good shapes here, right? So I'm going to, let's go to the shoulder here. So I'm going to go down to the lowest subdiv, right? And I'm going to go to split. I'm going to actually, okay, so let's kind of clean this up one by one. Oh, God. Okay, so his head is there? Oh, God. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. So let's invert our selection, right? Let's press Control W on this to basically isolate it into a new polygroup. And then we're going to select this guy and then select this guy, invert our selection, and we're going to press Control W on these to make a new polygroup so that they're separated out. And then for the neck here, we kind of need to make an educated kind of guess on like what we want to keep for the head area. And I'm probably going to say maybe this much and just press Control W on that. So now we have like all of these different polygroups, right? So now we can go to split here. We're on the lowest subdiv and we can hit group split, and that will split up all these individual body parts into separate pieces like this, but it will also keep their subdivision level. So now this is split, but it has all their subdivisions. And we can have, so now we have this other head here. We can just delete this guy because we don't need it anymore, basically. So geometry, just hit delete. And now we have this. So this is our new base neck that we're going to combine with our head over here, which is this one, I'm going to assume, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then let's clear that mask. I like his hair. It's very like poofy. Let's go to, okay, I'm going to just delete this because it's in the way. Let's go to over here. This is his old head. Wait, are these the same head?
Yeah, it's just a copy. I just
Okay.
always keep a copy.
All right, cool. So before I'm going to do anything else, I'm going to open up his mouth a little bit so that there's just a little bit more room over here. So there's no issues later when we go to Dynamesh. So we just kind of, I'm going to do this by masking this area here. And then doing like kind of what I did in your arm video a while ago, I'm going to go to grow mask. So masking, grow mask, and then shrink the mask. Or sorry, sharpen the mask, and then grow the mask, sharpen the mask, grow the mask, sharpen the mask. We should make a shape like this, hopefully. And then we can kind of like demask this part here. And then press Control W on this to make a polygroup of it. Then we can isolate select it. Is that symmetrical? Wait, what? It's not like symmetrical. That's kind of weird. All right, and then we'll hit Control. Then we're going to mask it basically. Kind of blur it a tiny bit, and just kind of maybe like get rid of some of this stuff over here. And kind of like pull it over like so. And just open up his mouth like a tiny bit like that.
Okay.
And just so that there's more room for the topology. And so when you Dynamesh, you don't get like an awkward merging at the corners there.
Okay.
And then we go over here to, so back in the subtool menu, which is up here now, we can turn on solo mode, and then we can grab our neck over here, which has all our subdivisions, pull this up to our head. Let's just put them into a new folder. Like this. Head. Sure. And then combine them like this. And then so now we need to make kind of like an executive decision about how, how much detail do we want to save and keep. Try to get them maybe intersecting like this kind of cleanly. You did this in your other file. So let's turn off this jacket for right now. Sure, whatever, just kind of brute force it. You can always just kind of resculpt it later. Something like this. Where's it? Okay, these are his arms. Let's hide those. His body, just hide that for right now. Cool. And so now that they're both at their highest resolution, we can kind of make sure that they're kind of sewn up together. And then go to, just grab this entire folder, hit merge folder, which now has merged the folder. And then now we can Dynamesh, and the eyeballs are still separated out. So now we can go over here to Dynamesh. So if we hit Dynamesh now, it's going to give us a really bad result. So we got to crank up the Dynamesh over here. So we're probably going to have to crank this, to like 512 or something. Dynamesh, no. Okay, that was a great example of the errors that you can get when you Dynamesh. So whenever it asks you if you want multiple if you want to freeze your subdivisions, you almost want to say no. Yeah, we're getting a little bit error like that. So we're probably gonna have to crank it up pretty high. Let's go to like 1024. Dynamesh, no. Okay. So this is getting a little bit thin here. That's fine though. It's not gonna cause too many problems. Let's just go straight to 2048. Dynamesh, no. Okay, cool. So now we have like a new combined head, and we can kind of smooth out these transitions a little bit. Oh, wait, those eyeballs are still there. Wait, oh, because it closed the holes. That's what you were just saying a second ago. I'm stupid. Oh.
You Dynamesh it.
Oh, I'm dumb. I was like, where did these eyeballs come from? Okay, well, it's not like a big deal, I guess. Huh. how would I do that? How would I fix that before? All right, never mind. I'm not gonna worry about that. I mean, I might try to close the holes and then like sculpt in a little bit of a space for the eye so that it doesn't. All right, let me just do what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do. Go over here to geometry. Zero mesh. Wait, where am I? Modified topology. Close holes. What do you mean this cannot? Oh, because it has subdivisions. Frick you then. Close holes. Uh-oh.
Having fun with you.
Uh-oh.
Come on, ZBrush.
You can do it, I believe. Please.
It's only 50 mil. It's not that bad. It's not.
What time is it right now? Okay. Hey, look at that. Cool. And that actually gives us a cleaner mesh down here that we can Dynamesh with too. And then, so now I might like try to sculpt in solo mode. Oh, it actually tried to do like an okay job there. And then we can kind of like push in this detail a little bit. Maybe like mask this guy out and just kind of like go. Oh, hold on. Shit. Okay, hold on. All right, so let's select this. Mask it. Where's the pivot? Where's the pivot? Where's the pivot? I wish there was just a center button hotkey for the pivot. I bet you can set that up. So just go skirt like that. You got to make the noise. There we go. So you can still get that sharp eyelid. So now that they're closed holes, the closed holes probably will help actually our Dynamesh now. So now if we go over here to Dynamesh and set this to 2048 and hit Dynamesh, so now we have like this new cleaned up shape, and we can kind of like smooth it out a little bit if we want to. We have the originals here in this folder, so we can just like duplicate this again. You know, do the whole ZBrush, do the whole ZRemesher rigmarole. Oh, I forgot to have symmetry on when I Dynamesh, I think. Let me go back a couple steps. Wait, this is the wrong head, bro. Control Z. It doesn't really matter. Push that in and then do like a quick mirror and weld to make sure. Oh, geez. Oh, his face was off symmetry. There we go. Interesting. Okay, I'm not going to mess with that too much then. Do you see that, though? His face is kind of off the symmetry line?
Yeah.
Huh. We can kind of like fix that now, I guess. And then, okay, I'll sculpt over. We can do a little bit more on his face in a second here. And then 2048. I don't know if I did that or if that wasn't the case. I'm not sure. So 2048, Dynamesh, and then delete, and then go to project. So ZRemesh. Keep losing all these windows. And you guys know how to do this, right? Done it a million times. ZRemesh it, reproject.
Yep.
Every
20% to make sure I get the good sculpt.
There you go, something like that, and then you just reproject the details.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, I did it on this guy.
Oop.
Oops, wait. So easy fix for that. So I just duplicated this. This one has no history, but this one does have history. So now we can just smooth this guy out with our Dynamesh, and then reproject the details, baby. Just turn off all that poly paint. Project all. Control D, project all. Control D, project all. Cool. I really like this eyelid shape for sure. It looks good. So maybe Control D like one more time and hit Control all. So anyway, the whole point of that is to show that like we want the head to be separated from the arms so that like the topology of the fingers doesn't affect like the topology of the head. So yeah, so now we have this new head that we can start sculpting on and, you know, start doing all this detailing stuff with, and we get to keep our eyes. Let's turn off solo mode here. And we can just turn off this old body. This guy. Wait, that's our new body. How do what's this one here? Let's just turn that guy off. Bam. And then turn on the jackets and shirts. Oh, you have so many in here. Okay, you can probably just start deleting some of these if they're old.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions about anything else right now? Or anything specific?
The mask. I
The
just
mask?
have it as a I just have it as a block out right now.
Okay. Yeah, so for the mask, this is like something you just modeled in Maya?
Yeah, and then I brought it in and it kind of
Okay.
like ruined it, but
How did you ruin it, you mean?
when I dynameshed, it just Z remeshed.
Oh, why did you
blew it
Z-remesh
up.
it?
It was really low poly.
Oh, okay. My first instinct was like to use like the Dynamesh to like extract and to kind of clean up a shape. But I mean, there's not really any real way to go about doing this really. It's just kind of like manipulating it. I might zero mesh this to be much lower, like even lower. Geometry.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
just zero mesh one more time. There we go. And then can we get it to be even lower than that? Not really, huh? Okay.
Okay.
And then go over here. Because like this issue here, I would just try and manipulate this in Maya to get it to wrap around the head.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like you can, I don't know. It's probably you could probably just like mask the border a little bit and kind of like reset the pivot here. Whoops. Where did the pivot go? Can I just move it in like that? Robin is kind of a nerd, huh? He like wears his he kind of wears his mask like outside in real life. Like that's kind of weird, huh? But don't we all wear masks in real life, really? Wow.
That got deep real fast.
Yeah.
You're like a 14-year-old again.
Mask. Face mask.
Oh, damn. Face masks. Got him. Cool.
Under that mask is another mask. After that, it's per Kakashi for Naruto.
So you can go down to masking here.
And hit mask now.
Mask. If you use mask by feature, you can use mask border. And then we want to just grab this border here so we can kind of like mask everything else out. We don't really care about this other junk.
Mask.
And then kind of just move it in a little bit like that. It's definitely not ideal. Oh, actually, you know what you can do? Pog. You guys ready? Okay, so in Z Modeler, they added this new functionality called Snap to Surface. So in Z Modeler, if you press spacebar over a vert, why won't it let me press spacebar over a vert? Okay, move points. There we go. So when you hover over a vert, you can press move. You can use Snap to Surface. This is available in the latest version of ZBrush. So if you don't have this version of ZBrush, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. If you press Snap to Surface, it will kind of move. It should hopefully move and then snap it to the surface of the model like this. So that can kind of help you, probably, to make it snap a little bit nicer. And that's basically just quad drawing it in Maya, right? So
yeah,
or kind of the same thing, but yeah, there you go. And if you make the brush radius, if you use the move feature here, sorry, if you make your brush radius way bigger in the draw size tab here, you can move it way further. So it's kind of dependent on your brush size. There you go, like that. And then that's like way too close, so you might have to like pull it out a little bit now, like that. Yeah, that's like how I might try it. And then I would use, let's do like mask border here. So mask by feature border again, invert the mask. And then in the polygrouping tab, or sorry, in the deformation tab, where's that under? Deformation. Do a quick like polish by feature a little bit to kind of smooth out that edge. And then you can just use panel loops here to give it thickness. Okay, buddy. What is going on here? Panel loops. Solo mode. What's going on? Is there like another part to this mesh that I'm not seeing? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so just give it like panel loops like that. And then crease them. Crease. And you get your mask. Kind of simple, kind of like that. Okay, that's pretty bad. I might try to clean that up a little bit, but so that's like closer to the surface. But does that kind of answer your question, hopefully?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I would otherwise like I think he's looking cool. I think we just need to like start defining. I don't know if we're losing a ton of detail between iterations because we're doing so much combining and stuff. But we want to make sure that we're like getting in here and like blocking out like his like eyelids and stuff. Are you gonna do the thing where he just has like white eyes, like he does in the show or like in the comic books and stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, I think it'll work. It's pretty iconic, right? How are they doing it in that new Batman game? Have you seen the footage for the new Batman game?
Which one? The one with the movie with the game, or the
not the Suicide Squad one. It's made by Warner Brothers, and it's like you play as Batgirl and Robin and Nightwing and Red Hood.
Mm-hmm. Batman game Slayer.
Pretty cool. Yeah, they just kind of go through and start to adjust some of these details. Cool. Anybody else have any questions about this stuff as I'm going through it?
I have a question about clothing folds that I thought of. I know it's a bit after the time, but
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Is that something you want to sculpt in with mirroring on, or do you kind of want to do that asymmetrically?
Asymmetry definitely helps. So yeah, I kind of wanted to bring this up because I wanted to talk about some more clothing fold stuff with this and how I would approach making more of these shapes. For sure. It depends. Like a lot of games do have symmetry. I think the best way to start making your stuff look higher quality is to definitely like add some asymmetry if you can.
Would that be ideally with things that are gonna get normal baked as opposed to being geometry in a low poly?
Oh man, this mask is like. Sorry, what was your question again?
So do you want to kind of confine it to things that are going to be baked in as a normal, or is it is it acceptable for that to stray into geometry kind of level details?
Oh yeah, clothing folds. You definitely want the clothing folds to be reflected in the geometry if you can, because it's just going to look like way nicer.
Okay, it's just going to be a nightmare to retopo. Got it.
It will be, but it's not that bad once you've done it a few times.
I mean, retopology isn't exactly hard. It's just tedious.
Yeah.
And then when you get to UV, and it gets kind of easier after that if you retopo it right. You can cut everything easily.
I feel like something happened with this mask after I started adding detail to it. I don't know.
I was wondering if we have like hair covering the back, do you want to see the detail in the back of it? Like it's covering the back of the character.
Yeah, you would model her shirt. Like if she had a whole shirt back there, yeah, you would model everything back there for sure.
So full detail. Yeah.
I think the issue with this, I know we're still talking about the mask here, but it's like there's too much spacing between here and here, right? I feel like let me look up Robin mask.
Thank you.
Robin.
I also had a quick question regarding like layers of fabric. Would you like sculpt the details of like fabric folds and all that stuff on like the bottom layers?
You would only sculpt it where it's like visible, if that
Okay.
makes sense. Oh yeah, here you go.
So like
yeah,
has a jacket that covers basically all of his back. So I wouldn't want to sculpt the fabric details for the back, but I would still want to have the fabric back there. Like the actual like vest, for instance.
hold on. Okay. Your question again, I'm sorry. So you have clothing in the back.
So my concept has the like an overcoat that covers the back of him.
Uh-huh.
Vest underneath the coat.
Yes.
Would I actually have the geometry for the back of the vest? Or would
in the
I
low
just
poly? Or are you just talking about in general?
In general.
Something about this I'm still not like super psyched about, but we'll have to come back to that later. So I mean, you could probably just delete it in ZBrush at this point. It's not like a huge deal. But if it's not going to be seen or whatever, it's probably fine. So yeah, for this character, for example, I mean, it's probably not a huge deal. You might want it there just to have as like reference to make sure you're not pushing the actual coat like too far into his body.
Well, I've seen a few times with similar models, like in some of the ArtStation like contests and stuff, is that they model that stuff in the high poly, but then they just don't model it in the low poly all the time.
They just don't model it in the low poly. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, like so if I was I guess it really depends, right? Like so for this character, for example, I would probably model maybe his whole shirt like underneath, or like a lot of it, maybe like this much of the shirt in the high poly or in the low poly, just so that you can kind of see that detail. But when I'm sculpting, I don't really care what it looks like in the back. I don't really care like what it. Okay. Oh, I like this tank top. The tank top is way better than the old shirt. Yeah, let's just work with that. Okay, because it's not as intersecting as much. So like I would definitely just focus on this, making this look as good as possible.
Just the front, yeah.
Just the front of it, basically. When I'm sculpting on it, I don't really care what it looks like in the back, unless you're trying to make like a really clean looking, folded, like sculpted character. Then you would sculpt everything, and you would have, progress. You would show the character with his jacket off, with his jacket on. Like I think Satoshi does that.
So if we actually were going to show off, then yes, we would have to have that detail.
Yes. So Satoshi kind of does that with some of his characters. Where is his Wonder Woman character, right? So like he has like the outfit version of her with all the different clothing bits, but then like here's what she looks like without all that stuff on. Yep. It really just depends like how much detail you have. This was posted 4 years ago. Fuck, I'm old.
Oh, they actually did the back too. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, right? Like if for your portfolio, you shouldn't really be cutting any corners, but like for this class, it's like fine. You can even see here on our boots and stuff, like he kind of just like cuts off the top of the boots. He doesn't even like really like, he doesn't try to make it like a thin surface, right? It's just like covered basically.
I have gloves. So do you want me to fill the hole with just close it up from the gloves?
You can probably close the holes, but like on this jacket, he closed the holes here, but he did make it double-sided so you could see everything. So it's a balance between like what's the level of fidelity you're going for and how much time you have, and your like skill level basically is like how much can you manage. He has a version of her where she's like wearing her underwear or whatever. So
wow, didn't see that come.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's dumb. Is there another example of this guy anywhere? So this was like for another project that he was gonna work on, but it didn't come out. So like when you're working on a game project, like you only make what you have to make because that's what they're paying you for. You don't do a bunch of extra work unless it's like explicitly that they're like, if you're working in The Witcher, right? You're gonna sculpt Geralt's, abs and crotch because there's probably gonna be a scene where he's gonna get naked. But if you're playing like Crash Bandicoot, they're never going to take off Crash's pants or whatever, right? Like he's just going to be Crash, right? So it really depends on the project and like what you're making and, you know, again, how much time you have and stuff. So this is actually a good example of what I want to talk about with your piece, Stephanie, about the jacket. I think it's a fun shape, but what I would do like immediately is you have these crease lines, right? So you don't have any polygroups? Okay. And I think, okay, so can I polygroup by creasing? Is that possible? Polygroup from edges? No, damn. Wait, wait, mask. Wait, you can do this. You can, okay, hold on. You can mask by feature, by crease. Oh, and then you can use like, sorry, that was a dumb noise that I just made. In the mask lasso brush over here, you can mask this stuff up here. And then mask this stuff here. Bam. And then kind of like clean up the mask like a little bit. Okay. So basically for this jacket, I'm going to split this video up into 2 videos so it's not stupid long. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. So then polygroup that. So basically, if I'm making a jacket like this, I don't know if it's like super obvious here, but these like little elements here, kind of in the same way that we're separating a lot of stuff by subtools, I would split off like different parts of fabric and clothing as separate parts as well. Like I feel like these cuffs on a jacket or like this bottom part here of the jacket would probably work a lot nicer if you were able to separate it from the coat and like be in control of the coat separately from these parts here. And then you can just low poly into a separate shape leather, because I feel like that's how this coat would be made in real life. Like the Leatherman jacket would have the leather part, and then the wool, whatever the cotton or the cuff would be a separate material. So kind of in the same vein, I'm just going to go over here to, oh, you already have subdivisions on this? Okay, not a ton though, so that's not bad. So let's go to geometry. I'm losing so much track of everything. Split, group split. Cool. And then now with this, you know, another good, okay, so now you have this example. I didn't do a great job masking that, or that part there. Wow, way to go, Pat. But that's easy to clean up. So you already have subdivs. I'm just going to delete them and then do a quick mirror and weld to make sure we have both details on both sides. Solo, and then do the same thing for this guy. Do a quick mirror. Oh, we have subdivisions here. Delete higher. Mirror and weld. And then, so for this, do the same thing. Let's go down to edge loop here. Turn down the panel loops settings. Turn up the thickness. The scale on your scene is very tall, so we got to like do something like that. Okay, not my best extraction, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Not my cleanest shape, but that's okay. So do a quick panel loops like that, and then go over here to crease, uncrease all, and then crease, and then subdivide it maybe. Uncrease all. So you get like a kind of a nice clean shape like this. And then you can do the same for the jacket here as well. Do the same thing. Go over here, do quick panel loops. In the negative. And make it as thick as you think you need it here. Maybe like that. Now we do the same thing for his collar. If his collar is like a really extreme shape, then go over here to crease. Crease. Control D. Whoops, I hit uncrease. Hold on, crease, Control D. Uncrease all. Bam. And then now you have like really nice separation between these two materials. We can turn off polypaint on everything. And this just allows you to manage these shapes just differently. And you can kind of have more control over how they interact. Does that make sense, hopefully?
Yes.
Okay. Control D. And then Control D. And actually, when you panel loop these, you might want to make them a little bit thicker and maybe do add some bevel. All right, Pat, why don't you just do what you say you're going to do? You're right, Pat. I will do that. Go back to here. So when you do panel loop these, you might want to go over to, you might want to make these a little bit thicker to give yourself some advance. So give yourself a little bit of a bevel. Oh, so this is tough because this edge here is like intersecting into itself a little bit. We can fix that by going to polygrouping and do a quick deformation. I mean, we can do a quick polish by features to kind of smooth out that detail. Maybe do a little bit of a polish. No, not too much. Polish by groups. Because I kind of want to like clean this edge out a little bit. Because I don't like it that it's like you have this very thin edge there. That's making the panel loop a little bit hard to do. But if we polish by feature and then pull this edge out. Whoa. What was that? Is everyone cool? Let me go over here. So does somebody have a question? And then do another quick Z mesher. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. 2. Oh, that's way too dense. Let's go to like, let's set it to same and just do Z mesh. Bam. There we go. And then now if we do edge loop and panel loop it, we can change the bevel profile quite a bit so that you get like kind of a nice rounded edge so that when you subdivide, you get like a nice rounder edge. Then you can do stuff like this basically. And you could probably either like try to sculpt in this detail, you can fake it in the texture, or you could probably overlay noise on top of it as well to make this type of shape. There's like a lot of different solutions that you can do. And then you can kind of use the inflate brush to kind of get in here and like inflate these a little bit. Oh, look at that. What do you guys think? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
Nice.
Looks like
Yeah.
it's working fairly well for you.
Yeah, looking nice.
Okay. So separating like materials definitely helps, or separating materials out from each other like this, or sometimes panels of clothing like helps me a lot when I'm sculpting. And you can, again, you can always just zero mesh this to be, sorry, not zero mesh it. You can always combine it later in your low poly to make a full jacket, which is probably what you will do. Because there's in the low poly, there's probably not a lot of reason to keep these two shapes separated, unless you're going for something really specific. Cool, yeah. And then it's just about like, you know, trying to get in here and sculpt in this detail to be more accurate. So you're probably going to want to look up a lot of good reference of like a Letterman jacket, right?
Yeah, high school
Letterman jacket. I made one of these like a long time ago, probably like 10 years ago. I made a jacket for one of my characters.
I still have my Letterman jacket from high school year.
I quit football in sophomore year because
you're one of those people.
Basically what happened was they one of our shitty quarterbacks showed up late to practice, and then they made like everybody run because he showed up late. And I was like, that's really stupid. Why would they do that? And then that's when I realized like high school sports just is shitty, and just like it didn't, everyone gets really up their own ass, and like is really self-important, and I'm like, bro, it's like high school football. Chill out. Like, we're not even gonna like qualify.
It depends on the coach.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think our coach. We had like one good coach. Yeah, this is a jacket. This is the Hotline Miami guy. You guys know that game?
Yeah.
So yeah, this was like what I tried to do for him. Same approach with those kind of stuff there.
You can check, what do you call them? Watch Dogs. They have most of the Leatherman jackets. Or what do you call it? GTA 5 has some. Which I don't know why they put on the PS5 again. I wish GTA 6 comes out.
Oh no, did that game like prints money?
I'm just waiting for GTA. I just don't want 5 again. I was like, come on, can you make 6 already? Just make 6. And then we're done.
Nah, they got online. You'll never get a new GTA.
Why would you need 6 when 5 is still selling copies?
I know, it won't end.
Yeah, true.
And then so yeah, sorry, I do want to talk about that stuff, but we gotta like do this. Turn up the lazy radius here. I'm gonna go through and just start adding this type of detail. Would I go as so far as to make this like wool part separate from this leather part? Maybe I might do that too. I feel like I don't know, like that might be like a good use of time just to like keep them separated, because like I don't know. You don't have to. That might be a little intense and you might not have that much time, but yeah. Anybody have any questions about this while we're going through this? Nope. All right. I want to talk a little bit more about clothing because there's a little bit more to talk about. Basically, you want to make sure that you have clean shapes and stuff like this, like I've been saying. But additionally, also
a pinch tool, yes, or pinch.
Yeah,
brush
I was using the pinch brush there.
Okay, sorry, you blew my mind because I was trying to figure out how to make the edges crisp, and then you just did it, and so sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I have a small question.
Yeah, what's up?
About lazy mouse. Sometimes I just feels like lazy mouse doesn't work on certain tools, certain brushes.
On certain brushes, is it always? Do you always turn it on or off, or?
It's usually off, but sometimes when I want to use it, like I'm not sure if it's because I set it too high or too low. Like I'm not even sure like which parameters matter to make it work.
Mainly when you use lazy radius or lazy mouse, you want to go to your stroke. Mm-hmm. So I have this just set up here, right? So here's my lazy mouse button, and you can see that it's on. It's not on for this pinch brush, but if I hit Damien Standard, it is on. The main parameter you want to kind of tweak is the lazy radius. That determines how far the distance between where you draw and where it starts dragging, you know?
Yeah.
So if I turn that down, it becomes a much shorter distance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes it just gets really long, and I think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, so try turning down your lazy radius. Lazy step allows you to do that, I guess, make like discrete steps between brush strokes.
Wait, like
so like when you drag like let's use the standard brush and like change the alpha to like this, and then it does like this, right? But then if I go over to lazy step and increase the step distance, it'll kind of make it like Photoshop.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem I'm having. Like it kind of does that, like in a much more crazier way, like what you just did.
So turn down the lazy step, so it kind of makes it normal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So clothing folds. It's 11. Wow, it's already 11 o'clock. God, we're spending so much. There's so much to talk about with clothing. Wow, can you believe it? So fabric fold reference. So I really recommend that when you guys look up reference for clothing folds, scans are like probably one of the best resources that you guys can use for this. I also really recommend, not that anybody of these drawings are bad, okay, but you probably want to look at some more like traditional looking, like good professional looking reference, not like somebody's like anime study, you know. Again, not that this is bad. I'm sure this guy, this person draws hot anime boys all day. They are an authority on something, but everyone has differences. The main things you want to think about are the points of tension. There's all these different types of folds. Where's like all the different types? There's like, here we go. These are all the different types of folds that you can have basically. When you're high hanging stuff, there's 1 point tension, 2 point tension, linear tension. There's also these things called half-lock folds, which are these shapes.
大家都不想跟我们玩，因为我们太
which kind of create that kind of characteristic shape at the elbows and stuff when you're bending your arms. So when you're sculpting your character, you want to kind of like bake in the idea that their arms are going to bend. So you kind of want to bake in that into the sculpt, so that when they're emoting in game or they're doing something, it looks a lot more natural. So it's not just static. So for this guy,
哈，你们真烂嘞！抢点红啊！
where was I just looking at? Like this Letterman reference, and I probably would want to look at someone with their arms like slightly bent like this. Like look at this guy, he's having so much fun.
哦，对
Like Damn Daniel on their phone.
帮宝石。
try to look at something like this when you're sculpting specific shapes.
秒蛇鸟耳福。
对，那是鸟是。我看到更重要的。
哎，帮宝是有歌吗？那好像没有，
没有广告。
And arms.
说什么1、2、3站着穿？帮宝是
鸟是鸟耳福。然后那国小了。
大家都是电视儿童，这样不优。
对，真的电视儿童，没办法。
You can turn on transparency so you can kind of see what you're doing a little bit. Turn off
童年，
没人是不是？
有刚好机器人声音哎，我都除了你。
Now that's like kind of like my middle scene there.
但我们队友会不会收东西啊？这么久还是空的。
God, I just no, I'm managing.
什么东西空的？啊，他就刚好没捡到啊，你怎么可以怪他？
帮宝是鸟儿哭，
可怜啊，
可怜啊，新菜。
Whole body.
可怜啊
，head. Turn that off.
哎，我听到那个诡异音效，我应该用那个，他用那个。
Now we're basically ready to start sculpting. You can use clay buildup for sure to help you.
都藏獒哎。
现在吃 Cookie Monster，你下课了？我记得你不是3点。
哦，我在吃 Cookie Monster， 对啊，还在上课啊。不过现在老师在评某些同学的作业，就这样。
你是那个优秀的先评完了，对不对？
我其实我有点落后进度，不过很快赶回来。不过我的东西老师一直都说还不错了。
检讨一下。
外挂。
最近有点太回忙了，不是打游戏，要么就接了一个委托在做那个委托。
对啊。
哦，但不行哦，有失本业。
有赚钱呢，我这样如果赚下去就可以赚个1万块，还蛮爽的。
一直赚，你再换3070。
一直花一直赚。
操！哇，新电脑真的挺棒的，很多效率倍增。
When you're using Dancer, are you using
那个弥补你那个浑噩的那个副作用？
打游戏太爽了，没办法，这个宽荧幕，然后键盘，然后电脑又强。
你们要干嘛？你们在里面要干嘛？
做什么东西？
捡东西啊！
哦。
Even for the lips, I was like, oh, it makes good. 我这边有那个哦，有坏人。
有人是。
帮宝鸟儿哭。
You want anybody else? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, do you want both sides to have the same symmetry?
看哨兵真的没了。
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
什么意思？
哨兵没了，因为它有个 bug， 可以让它射的跟那个机器一样快。
傻小外挂。
对，不是，就是一个 bug。然后他现在先把它下架，然后。
刚刚我今天没有遇到，我想说你跟我讲完。
没有，我刚刚去靶场玩看，我说奇怪，怎么哨兵不见了？
不知道，我昨天就想说那到底是什么场，从来没看过。
我刚才没想到练一下哨兵，就看哨兵马上不见了。
哨兵之前好像是要装大电池，超智障。
是哦，现在小电池好像2颗吧。
大电池也太硬了吧！
之前每一把都缺大电池。
我确定之前常看到。
大电池最强的那个补品啊。
对啊。
妈，他在那边狂磕大电池，整个背包打开都是大电池，不拿小电池。
大电池最重要。
Standard brush
比任何都重要。那凤凰包等太久了，所有人每个带凤凰包。
生命线的那个加速图形那个被动还在。
被动。
Do you have any other questions about this? right now.
我知道他拉补品的那个速度比较快。
他好像所有都很快吧，所以他配那个金色包包，他配金色包包快的跟狗一样。
对啊。
无脑。
因为现在金色包包好少，我几乎没看到。
我也没看过，游戏内没看过。
变很少，我好像有看过守护天使，之前打死人有看到一个。
No, okay.
改职人金色包太强了，我吃东西都少一半。
完了，坏坏！
我什么都有了，这个啦。
妈干他妈！老子不是当我不是拿中心，真衰。
Making everything cool.
你有狙击剑吗？
没有哎，我没拿狙。
So crisp.
跟我一下。
乱来。
I was gonna have a low poly demo, but I can maybe take a look at a couple other people's. Does anybody else have any questions? Or maybe would like some more specific feedback.
会很贵吗？还好。
还好。
Right now?
有酸哦。
Not right now.
哦，他跑圈嘞，
我怎么？
走我们队友那哦。
好。
I'm all that screwed.
Did I talk about ZBrush dynamics in this class yet? Did I show that off?
The what now?
Did I talk about ZBrush dynamics in this class?
不然太无聊啊。
I hear ZBrush and then
dynamics.
没有战斗就没有激情。
I don't.
战斗激情。
I've never heard those two words used in that.
我也不要走那个通道。
狙击枪的屁股
哎，有人扫，是他扫吗？ 哦，是他扫，干他智障。
是我刚才从前面上过来的。
我刚才不是吧？可是应该因为前面没有人啊，所以应该是他扫。但他感觉那个
有撕包啊。
Okay.
有吗
So let's say
有啊，他去捡撕包啊。
You feel like you don't want to sculpt folds and you don't want to do a good job, and well, sorry, I'm not saying that this is like a hack or anything. Like it's not. It's just a tool in your arsenal, basically.
都是意外。
Basically.
三重级跟电人你会选哪个意见
？If you have the latest version of ZBrush, they have introduced this new feature called ZBrush Dynamics, which is basically
好问题，我没有想过。
这
两把都蛮强的，我觉得。
To your model, basically.
我会觉得三重级比较好用。
This model's pretty dense, so we might have to go down to our lowest.
可是三重级，因为你打远的话，你需要蓄力，它才会缩成一颗。所以。
Need like a position,
不一定看习惯了，我觉得。如果不用机器的话，是电能会比较好用。
So let's go down here. So first, you want to make sure you only have everything turned on that you want to sim the clothing on top of. So
至少它是你打过去就至少会有伤害吧，而且你还可以用撒鸟的方式。
And the
你可以用扫的，对吧？就是还是至少会有一点伤害这样。
And this other stuff here, right?
三种真的是你没有打中就痒痒，因为它是3颗嘛，3颗飞出去。单发伤害可能就20来30，我记得少少的。
I'm gonna pop out this window, hide this menu over here, and I'm gonna go.
那个不要乱扫啊。
Sorry, you're gonna grab this.
还是要看到主机在扫吧。
And just drag it over.
哎，下一圈已经看到了。
这边有人开过。
This is a resource intensive thing as well, so you probably want to make sure that you save.
我们要直接去那个。
Fall semester.
跟着笨狗走。
不要，刚刚走会出事啊！
We're module 6 now. Can you believe it? Module 6.
这个位置。
We'll call this like.
这算制高点。
We'll just call this a clothing demo.
看一下。
So I want to say off the bat. I will say Daniel got some good results with this. I have not really figured out a way to get decent results with this. I feel like it takes more time than I'm willing to put in. And I feel like, honestly, if I'm trying to get really good results, I would probably just use Marvelous Designer to get really accurate sims. The main thing you want to do is you're going to turn on your model, right? This button here called Collision Volume to start. And what that's going to do is it's going to create everything on your scene is collision volume, except for the tool that you have selected. This is going to be the thing that everything's going to sim against.
龙那边呢？看到。你有没有狙的话，我觉得可以试。没有狙我就不试。
报价。
and hit run simulation.
我帮
And
你
it'll
看
start
其
to
他
like
地
kind of
方。
like okay bleed through. All right, so what happened? Let's hit.
他们
Let's
往
hit
右
max,
边
okay, let's hit collision volume again and hit recalculate, and then
他
hit
们要
run
摸过来
simulation
揍
again.
我们，知道？看好他们。
Oh my god.
Ugh.
What is happening?
因为他们
It
他们
looks
等下
like
也要往
water
前。
falling
It's
off
not
of
really
it.
supposed to happen.
Oh,
I think
it's
part of
like
the issue.
heated cheese.
So I
Those
think part of
bullets
it.
will save you time
那
faster.
边
All right, so this is a really.
假的，那假的。
So I
左边有一
have to
只
tell you, I've only watched
我
some
摸进去
tutorials on this.
还没
Yeah, I
快。
watched a few. I do
这边
is
对决。
you wouldn't work on a model that already has subdivisions like this and thickness. You would dynamically create the thickness. So you probably want to just reduce your model to something like this to start with, so you don't have those extra shapes. I just duplicated the old jacket for later.
他没收到吗？
Turn down
没看到点
I'm just gonna. So I deleted higher.
他们往左边
and I
跑了
also,，
这样这是怎样？他被后面射，被后面射。
Topology, and
后面
I'm
后面
So now I only have this shape.
搞衰哦。
So now when I hit, let's hit recalculate collision volume, and then let's hit run
往
simulation.
前往前往前，帮他帮他帮他。
All right, so it's still not doing the
干
best
他会
job
往被那个
because I think our gravity is really high. So you probably want to turn down the gravity, and then hit run simulation. So we're starting to get slightly better results now. Let's set this to like 1 for right now, and hit run simulation. Okay. So now it's kind of floating off the surface a little bit, and it's kind of like being affected by everything.
这里吗？
We can turn down the collision inflate so
他们进
it
洞了。
doesn't like the collision volume doesn't shoot so far off the surface of the other models.
哦，干扎脚毒气。
去帮他去帮他去帮他。
Okay, there we go. Turn down the gravity strike a little bit more and hit run simulation. Hey, okay, cool. So the thing about running the simulation is that it runs.
扎小哇，后面后面后
until
面
you rotate or move your mouse basically.
哇，
So now
被
that I have
被
the
击到
simulation,
上面。
it kind of already like started making
不
some
要
cool
不要，
shapes.
他不要那
But we
个。
want to give it
完
more to
了
work with, but without
Ball,
actually
ball.
subdividing. So what you want to do is you want to go into this dynamic
你
tab
这
and click this
用那个
dynamic
毒
button,
气那个啊，
which is
掩
going
护一
to
下。
dynamically subdivide your
毒气
mesh
肥
based
佬
on this smooth subdivision slider. And
它
then you can turn on.
下面有。
被爆了，原本就2
You can
片。
give it thickness
完
here as
了
well if you want to kind of preview what it's going to look like with
那我应该
thickness.
先打后面，
Uh,
后面的音。
like so.
这
Just
对
to
我
kind
来
of give
说
you an
老实
idea.
讲
So now when I hit
完
run
了，我伤
simulation,
害那个敌到破
it's
表。
not a ton is changing. Let's move something really fast. Like now when I hit run simulation, I turned the gravity way down.
来了一局
Back up.
靠你。
没有，我很
It
菜。
has thickness now, and it's like simulating a lot more of the model basically.
你打完了吗？
Okay.
好完了。
哦。
Now, when you use
Oh,
this,
yeah.
you want to start using your
Oh,
cloth brushes. So hit B, and then C.
Wait,
There's a
what?
whole bunch of different cloth brushes you can use. You can try.
为什么大家都要隐藏自己？
Again,
我发挥
偷猎
我发挥热情的美国人
which
抓
ones
走
are。good ones?
你们在逃
Daniel,
避
what
什么？
brushes were you using?
我在逃避
Any,
热情。
每个人上线都要隐
any
身
hot，tips you can give?
鬼鬼祟祟的。
嗯，
你就跟他讲说你在台湾
I
他
use
妈
a
的
lot.
打你们
I
那个
just
美服
I
的
just
爆
try
屏
and
啊！
stay.
哎，有道理，好借口。
Yeah.
对啊，
I
你妈你
found
就
the
170
cloth
几定，你连台
move
湾
is
打
especially
干
helpful for making adjustments.
Yeah, so cloth
每个人
moves
他妈都跟幻
like
象一样
immediately
的
give
打。
you some really cool results.
Yeah, this shit's
帅
wizardry.
啊！
That's so weird. How?
Yeah.
How?
It
The
does
thing
like a
is-
simulation.
That is so bizarre.
But like it
哇，
doesn't
新款的
really
那个传教博
match
士蝴蝶
like
刀
the
有帅，
material
对
of the
那超
leather
帅
that we
蝴蝶
want.
刀
You know, it kind of just
他
makes
边走
like
会在那边甩刀，
帅
好像牛逼。
他是这个风格。
Doesn't mean it's not cool as shit.
然后上面还有一个
I
针
don't
筒在
know,
上面。
like I don't know, like you can try changing the firmness of the cloth up here as well, which will probably help. So if I set this, because this is leather, right? It's probably going to be really firm.
键盘前面会放个东西垫着，然后看到有人放一块木头
You
的。
can also try using in the
你们
cloth.
怕你讲吗？
说电手腕的哦，
对，电手，因为我觉
我
得
没有啊。
我看你的椅子，
管
就要
能量好
看你的
大。
椅子高度
The
跟
cloth move is a good one.
Oh.
Cloth hook does some interesting stuff.
反正你舒服就不用了。
Alright, let's do this. It'll be fun. And if not, well, I do not
打不出。
Yeah, I'm not like
as long as I deserve to die.
你的原则一直在
No.
让我
Sorry, there you go.
原来
Poor Robin just got
没有
like
啊，他说跟
stabbed
朋友
in
面
the
还可以
side.
玩，大家可以放下原则，自己觉得
no more rules。
cloth nudge kind of does some of that stuff too. It's like really subtle.
好的。
没有问题，好费劲。
希望你们可以带我，希望你们可以救救我。
直接跳了吧，你是队长。
我在想要跳哪？
Get ready, moving out.
When you're smoothing, you want to make sure you use clock smooth.
干下面有点快，怎么办？
It does a better job.
哦，没有，很快哦。
他比我们快，他比我们快。
那我们去后面这段了。完了，我觉得。在后面，在后面。
不可能 EXE。哦。
Let's recalculate.
我没枪，我就没有帮忙。我有枪，
靠腰，我他妈超跑。
Yeah, like I said, I am not like super fond of this personally. I think that
啊，有一个很长，这个生命线，生命线。
Unless you like.
Oh! 对的，好的，当然。捡了，我捡。
Standard brush or the move standard? You mean?
啊，妈没枪
妈的，那个 EVA 8，一个人喂4发，然后我就走。
You can also do other features. So like probably something that will help is like we don't have polygroups on this, but we can like mask this particular part of the body and polygroup it, grab it, mask it,
insert
my mask, and we can simulate just this part separate from the rest. So like mark this a little bit, and you can tell it to like contract, and it'll kind of like.
受伤的总数
It'll contract, I guess.
看有什么子弹拿一拿就。
Which maybe we kind of like want.
哦，没子弹了。
你叫什么？你叫什么
And then there's like deflate.
清醒跟闪电。
闪电是那个能量，全部给你，有没有用
？Energy ammo here.
嚯！
我就是先看到什么我都全部捡起来。
I don't really know why this
知道这种心态，以备不时之需。
来就是。 到时候
just gotta smooth it out a little bit and go back to the basics here.
这是什么枪啊？电能步枪。哦，这个。
It's not really what I wanted.
Give him my shields a recharge.
Okay. The intensity or draw size.
我会救你。
I don't know really what I did.
我们会救你。
I can give you guys some links to the videos I watched.
我还没在干呢。我想一下哪边救你比较
I
安
would
全。
say
右
it
边
takes
这里
time
吧
and。like pushing and pulling and I don't know. I
大
would say
平
if you're
台
really trying to get accurate simming results, you would probably
给
just
你满满的大平台。
How much is more designer?
看来各位有使用
right
到
now
的
is
朋友。
$50 a month.
没有
They are
错。
changing their business model to subscription based as well, like everything else.
Faking him out with a decoy.
It's like 5.
希望不会有人那么快就过来揍我，我不想死。
把我在你旁边啊！
我可不想领便当。
Optics here.
啊，这边有东西啊！
Yeah, I would say like you probably want to. I mean, you know.
你下来后，我一把把这个
have the best looking photos.
直接丢给你。
哦，这个地方。
Might be something good there.
I'm not saying that you guys are
Shotgun
bad,
bolt
but just
here.
because like
Level 2.
you gotta practice, you gotta
The
study.
character 1 class.
Yeah, and you guys have so much. You only have so much time to dedicate. You know.
能把那种东西买一买。
And sometimes, yeah, you can just get away with just using the regular.
Guess I'm running out of ideas.
我过来吗？我在这里。
I feel like I was getting when you go back to your model here, you can hit reconstruct subject and you get your subject back. So I mean,
Ultimate
ideally,
accelerant here.